1.5 years ago, we planted up Cobra Lily seeds, and this is what they look like now. As you guys can tell, they are very, very happy. So it's time for us to finally repot them, take a close look at them, and talk about why the moss that is growing here so well is actually killing the plants. So let's start the video. So we have had our Cobra Lilies growing with us for 1.5 years now. When I first moved to Australia, we sowed up these seeds together. If you guys don't remember that, go check out that video. But they obviously germinated a couple months later, and we now have some Cobra Lilies with adult pitches. Now, I don't know why, but I'm very, very lucky because every time I've ever grown or owned Cobra Lily seeds, I'll always get them to get their adult pitches within 9 to 12 months. And now it usually takes 1 year to 2 years for their adult pitches to come out fully. But like I said, I'm always very lucky because I get them within 9 to 12 months. And I don't do anything different with them. Literally, all I have them in is a plastic pot, long fiber sphagnum moss and perlite, and I put the foil around, because their roots like to be kept cold. I don't even know if the foil does anything. As you can see, it's like falling apart now. So let's actually get rid of that. Yeah. But anyway, like I said, I don't do anything special for them. I just keep them with all the other shade-loving plants, the ones that like to be kept colder. And they're super, super happy. And if you are growing your Cobra Lilies and they have live moss that's also very happy, it means that you're doing something right. But I just don't know what it is. But with this moss that's growing, you guys might be able to tell that the moss is actually starting to strangle out some of the plants. Besides that, the plants are getting pretty big and they're going to strangle out each other. And we don't want to go from like 50 plants down to 10 because we didn't repot them soon enough. So we are going to take them apart, look at each and every one of these little Cobra Lilies, and put them in their own little pots. They're going into these small pots here because long fiber sphagnum moss is very expensive and it is not to be found anymore because of the whole crisis in the world. But yeah, we're going to take them out, put them in here, and take a closer look at all of them. And just to let you guys know, the best time to repot Cobra Lilies is when they're dormant, which is mid-winter to early spring, which it is now in Australia. Same for Venus flytraps. But let me just readjust the camera. We have the soil ready, so let's get the plants out and take a look at them. So here we go, guys. Here's our Darlingtonias. Put that aside. Just take one more look at our little ecosystem before we destroy it. Super happy little plants. Very thick moss. You can see there are plants inside of there embedded in the moss, and we need to rescue them all basically. So this is how you do it. Squeeze around the pot very gently. Make sure that the soil is all loose. Turn it all upside down. One good shake, and that's it. Everything will come out. Now it looks like we have actually something growing here. Can you guys see that? What is that? I think it's just a piece of grass. Well, anyway, let us... Oh, I don't know how to do this. I want to reuse the soil, guys. Damn. I want this black background so you guys can see. Okay, well, hope you guys can see like that. Okay. See, it will all fall apart because there's no roots down here. But you want to be very gentle when you do this with your plants too. Now you guys can start to see the roots coming out here. You need to remember that you need to be very careful because their roots are very delicate. And you don't want to kill your plants off, obviously. So just be very careful. Dividing plants in this moss is not easy at all because this moss grows into the roots, and well, the roots grow into the moss, so it does make it very difficult to actually separate plants. Just be very careful is all I can recommend to you guys. Save as much long-fibered live moss as you can because this stuff is super difficult to actually get. I don't know how I got this stuff to grow, guys, so make sure if you guys have any, you save it. Okay, so we're getting to the part where I actually can't get out much more moss from the bottom here. The roots are sticking out and it's going to be quite dangerous to actually pull out any more moss. keep whatever moss their roots are growing in with the plant, you know. And now comes the very difficult parts of growing things in this moss, because everything gets tangled up together. So I am going to try to think of a way to separate these plants, because honestly, growing plants in long fiber sphagnum moss is really not easy, especially when you want to repot them. So harvest the moss and let's try to figure it out. I'm just gonna try and remove all of this live moss, see if there's any plants that come out with it. See, and this is what I'm saying, guys. This moss strangled off this little baby over here that is now obviously dead. So we already lost one Cobra Lily. So sad. Oh well, let's look at what we do have, not what we don't have. Okay, so that piece didn't have any plants in it. Now I know that if we pull out this piece here, we're gonna get this plant over here. So be very gentle again so we don't destroy their roots. And let's hope that we can get a small enough piece that we're not working with too many plants. So there we go. This long fiber sphagnum moss, this live moss, was growing in between this plant and was strangling it out. So we have one rescued Darlingtonia, rescued from the live moss, that we will be repotting up together. But that's how they kind of look, guys. They have a little stolon, so they grow in a direction like that. So you can see the old growth to the left, the new growth coming out of the right. So when you plant it, you want it to be planted in a corner of the pot to grow up in that direction. But let's get the rest of these plants out and count how many we have at the end of all this. And here's our first Darlingtonia with an adult pitcher. Looks very good. Okay guys, just bringing you back real quick to explain to you how difficult this is. This is a mission. This is the most saturated part of the whole pot, has the most Cobra Lilies in it, and I'm really struggling to get them all out, guys. They tangled in and amongst each other. Their pitches grow in between each other, and then they all get tangled up, and then you try to pull one and you break the pitches off. And obviously their roots don't make things any easier. It is really, really difficult, guys. So I would recommend that if you have them, see, look, I just pulled off a root by mistake. If you have these guys, repot them a little bit sooner than what I've left it to, because this really is not easy, guys. This really sucks. So I'll bring you guys back when I've finished off this big pile. And here we go, guys. We have 34 seedlings that we have planted up together. We have 6 that have died, well, 4 that are completely dead, 1 that's like dying, and then one that we found earlier that was way past dead as well. So we had 40 plants. Now we have 34 and a half, I guess, and now it's time to actually plant them up. But before we start planting them up, I actually want to show you guys one of the oldest ones, or the biggest ones rather. This is how the pictures look. They literally look like little cobras, and that's how they get their name, Cobra Lilies. And they will all look like that. They'll all grow up to make little cobra, standing up little cobra faces or cobra heads or whatever. This is a younger one. But they're very, very interesting. So let me show you how to plant them up. Take your pot, take your soil, which is sphagnum and perlite. Make sure that you actually pack it down well so that the soil has good contact with the water tray. Fill it up nicely. And then you're gonna do what I always do, fill up one side of the pot with your moss. And then fill up this corner over here. Take your plant that you want to plant up. Now actually I just remembered these guys grow in a direction. So the point where they grow out, that little spot there, that's the direction that they're going to grow in. So this plant's going to grow across. Now if I put it in the middle, it only has half the pot to grow. If I put it right on the edge, it has the entire length of the pot to grow. So what I will just do, add some moss into this corner, makes enough space for the roots. Lay it in, pull it up against this said corner, and fill up this gap where their roots are with some more soil. And there we go. Now the plant will grow out in this direction, has all the space to grow until it eventually becomes big enough that it needs its own bigger pot. And just make sure that you do press the soil up firmly against their roots so that it doesn't dry out or, you know, die, because we don't want that. And then what I like to do is take the live moss that you have somehow gotten to grown for whatever reason, put it on the surface of your pot, really get it in there so it gets good water contact. And what this means is that you can grow your live sphagnum moss all over again, and you've spread it out into different pots, so you can get hopefully much more sphagnum moss growing. So that's how you're going to do it. I'll do a couple more with you guys just to show you the process again. And so once again, we'll do the exact same thing. We filled up these sides here, put some in the corner, made a space for some roots. Gonna grab a plant, see which direction it's growing in. That direction right there. Put it up against the wall and fill up the space. And don't forget a little bit of live moss, just so you can have more live moss growing in your pots. And live moss is a very good indicator of the conditions of the soil. If your moss is growing happily and healthily, it means that they're getting enough light, the soils are nice and cool, there's enough water getting to the top of the pots. There's a baby busy crying, but yeah, it means that everything that you need in a pot is happening if your moss is very happy as well. So let me, wow, that baby's really crying. Let me fill up the rest of these pots, finish them off, and I'll bring you guys back when I've done like 30 something pots. See you then. Okay guys, so it's been 2 hours and I finally potted up all the plants. And I doubled up the amounts of plants per pot because there are way too many plants. You guys know I always have way too many plants. But we are finished now. As you can see, we've got 4, 8, 12, 18 pots. So 35 plants. Well, this one's kind of dead, so I'm like 34. There's only one in this pot as well. But you can see that almost all of them have some live moss in the pots as well, so hopefully they end up growing. But yeah, let's hope that our new little pots of Cobra Lilies will start growing up And that took a really long time, guys. So yeah, take my advice and try to divide them up before they get too big. But that is about it, guys. So we checked up on our plants. We have obviously did an update on them to see how they're doing. Did an update on them, repotted them all, and I hope you guys enjoyed that, learning about how to repot your Cobra Lilies and looking at how they look and how they grow and all that stuff. But yeah, they're super easy plants to grow, for me at least. You know, they just grow in moss and perlites, and they get kept shaded, just, you know, to keep their roots cool, and that is all I do for them. So I hope that it helps you guys. If you have any questions, please just let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to help you guys out. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next episode.